Hey everyone, it's Natalie. So I thought I'd do a quick video about when your spouse or maybe brother, sister, or loved one wants you to communicate or let the narcissist back in your life. Well, let me tell you, narcissists do not change. They get worse with time. And when you have somebody pressuring you to either communicate, talk to the narcissist about why you have went no contact with them or why you're mad at them, they don't care. They might sit there and listen to you and everything and agree and say, yeah, you're right. Probably not. But what I think the person that is asking you to let the narcissist back in or have any communication with them again, I think what it is that they're not educated the way that you are about what a narcissist is. And so if you're under that pressure where your spouse or whoever is asking you to give the narcissist another chance, you just straight out tell them no, that you are no longer going to allow this, and that no matter how much the narcissist says they're going to change, they will not change. Trust me, they don't. And I think the people that are asking you to allow the narcissist back in your life have not really been through the abuse that you have been through. And if they have been, let's say it's your husband, he's used to that abuse. He grew up in an abusive household. So he thinks that it's just normal. But when you, the wife or the husband who did not come from a narcissistic family cult, know the difference, that you were not treated that way in your family and that things were very different in your family upbringing, that it's hard to explain to your spouse or whoever it is that the abuse that you went through isn't normal, and you're normalizing it when I know for a fact that they are not going to change. You've given them so many chances for only them to prove themselves wrong, only to prove that they don't care about you. They manipulate you into thinking that they're going to change and this and that. But literally within weeks, it could be days or even months, they will go right back to the way they were. And it's all a cat and mouse game. It's like, it's kind of like this. Like, they're giving you little crumbs of cheese saying, well, we can do this for you. We'll give you money. We'll help you do this and this and that. And when you start taking those crumbs of cheese and you finally get to the trap, the narcissistic trap, they go right back to the way they were. Nothing will change with the narcissist. Their personality is literally like that. And I think it's hard, especially in my circumstance, for my husband to understand that I'm not going to give his parents another chance, considering that they have not proven throughout the years, almost 21 years, that they have changed. Even though they had made that promise years ago that they were going to change and stop treating me badly and stuff, they didn't. It didn't take them more than a year for my narcissistic mother-in-law to start putting the D word, the divorce word, in my marriage when it had never been there before. And so when you're trying to sit here and explain to your spouse or your brother or sister who has a totally different experience of the narcissist than you, it's hard to explain to them how you feel about it and how the way they've treated you and how it's affected you throughout your life. And so what my suggestion to do is, if they can't stand by you and cut the cord and say, sorry, I've had enough. No, we're not going to talk to you. No, we're not going to be in your life anymore. Then if they can't do that, then your marriage may be on the verge of divorce, or your relationship might be on the verge of ruin. And especially if you allow these people back in your life, they will, I mean, if you go no contact with a narcissist and then you allow a narcissist to come back into your life, they have it out for you. They are secretly plotting against you, even when smiling in your face. They will have a alternative motive, sorry, tongue tie, against you, even if they say they're going to change and they tried to prove it. So if you allow them back in your life, they will destroy your marriage or your relationships with whomever. And if your husband or sister or brother doesn't, or whoever it is, doesn't stand by you and cut that cord instead of leaving the door open a little, giving the narcissist a little bit of hope, thinking that we're going to cave to the manipulation tactics and games that they play, then, if your marriage and your relationship will survive if they just cut the cord. The problem is especially when you're dealing with a spouse and it's their parent that's the narcissist, is that they love them. I mean, they've grown up in this abuse thinking it was normal when it wasn't. So, in some ways they do want that closure. And I agree, closure is good. But when you're dealing with the narcissist, there is no closure because they lie through their teeth. So, for instance, like in my case, my husband wants us to have a video call with his parents. It's been 2 years since we've talked to them, since we've seen them. They don't know where we live. They don't know anything going on in our life. His whole thing is that he's like, even if it doesn't go well, at least I'd get the closure that I wanted. I said, but Jared, you have to understand, the narcissist is going to use that instance of you calling and trying to get that closure. They're going to try to use that as a manipulation tactic against you, because then they still have hope and dreams that you're going to come back in your life. So the best thing you can do is cut the cord. The other thing is, though, too, is if somebody needs closure in the case that it's their parents or whatever, regardless if the narcissist cares or not, the person needing closure, I mean, they're human, Narcissists aren't human. And so if they decide that they need the closure that bad because, they're depressed, they're having anxiety, maybe even suicidal thoughts and things like that, it's okay for them to have that closure. But you personally, the person that have been affected the most by it, you don't have to be part of that closure. And if my husband decides to have that closure, I'm not going to be any part of that. And if I see that after he gets his closure, that he thinks he's going to somehow manipulate me into allowing his parents back in his life, he has something else coming. And the whole reason why I'm making this video today is to let you know that you don't have to be part of the narcissist. And if your partner is in need of closure, that's fine. He's human. He deserves it. But after that closure, after whatever it is that he needs to say, if the cord is not cut after, and he starts or she starts manipulating you into thinking that they're going to slowly come back into your life, you need to be vocal and tell them that you're either choosing the narcissist and the way they treat me, or you're choosing, knowing the way they treat me, or you're choosing me. So you're either going to have to cut the cord with them, or you're going to have to cut the cord with me. And that's not fair to have to do that. But when dealing with the narcissist, nothing's fair, because they don't play fair. They don't care about you, your feelings, your emotions, what your opinions are, what your thoughts are. And so this is why especially in a marriage, if both partners aren't studying about narcissism, the other person that's not studying about it is not going to fully understand that the narcissist is not human, that they literally do not care about anything you are feeling or having to say. They might pretend to apologize, but really in the back of their head, they're only doing that to get what they want, to get their way. So you're going to have that tough conversation with your loved one, that no matter what it is that the narcissist says or does will ever matter in your life again. And when you're at that point where you're telling your loved ones that no matter what they say or do, can they come back in my life, you are healing. Because at first, you're very confused and you're thinking a lot, and you're thinking about all the horrible things they've done, and then you're thinking that you miss them, and you're thinking, can it be different? Can they change? No, it can't. It won't change. And this is why it's important when you're dealing with a narcissist that if you're going no contact with them, whoever's going no contact with them, they all need to study about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. My husband is a codependent and an abuse victim himself, and it has been normalized in him thinking that the way his parents act towards his wife is fair. But just like the counselor told him, and just like I've had other people tell me, and things I've read and studied on, it didn't matter if it was me. It could have been Sue, Mary, Anna, Bella. It could have been any woman. His mother would have treated his spouse or his girlfriend the exact same way. So even if she got what she wanted, and that is us divorced, and my husband started dating again, he would be going through the same exact thing that he went through with me and his mom. And that's plain and simple. A narcissist does not change, and they will always be like that, especially a narcissistic mother when it comes to her children's spouses or children's girlfriends or boyfriends. She will always have it out for them, because no longer is she getting the supply that she once was, because now her child is praising his girlfriend or boyfriend or spouse or whoever with the love that he once praised his mother with. So she no longer is getting that supply, and that is the reason why she goes on attack mode and saying that, her child's significant other is a nobody and nothing, and that he deserves better. Because in her mind, she's thinking, well, you should be dating me. Because with the narcissist and their children, they have an incestual emotional relationship. And when that child starts having a real emotional and sexual relationship with their partner, the mother no longer is getting the supply from her child that she once was getting. So it like I said, it would not matter who my husband dated. The outcome of this situation would have been the exact same. And like I've told my husband, see, I'm a Taurus and I'm a fighter. And not a lot of women would have put up with what I have put up with through these 21 years of being together. I've been with my husband since I was 15 years old, and it has gone on for that long, 21 years. And so my suggestion is if your loved one needs the closure, then you either allow him to get that closure and then most definitely cut the cord, or you get that person into counseling. So especially someone that specializes in narcissistic abuse, so they can fully understand and grasp that a narcissist that's their personality that they cannot change. That's like someone coming and asking you to change your personality. Would you be able to do that? After 35 years, if somebody came and told me to change my personality, like, there's no way I'd be able to do it, because you're learned from childhood. You've learned lessons, and it's made you be the person you are. It created the personality that you have because of the way you grew up. So it's going and asking a narcissist to change, even with the promise of them changing, it won't happen. And let me tell you, when we did ask my narcissistic in-laws, when we confronted them in a letter and said, you guys promised that you were going to change the way you treated Natalie, her response was, Jared, we will never change. So that's all I really have to say. All I was coming on here just to say is that, when you have somebody trying to coerce you into allowing a narcissist back in your life, you stand your ground and you do what you think is right. And you tell your spouse or your siblings that this is the way it's going to be. And if they don't like it, then they can go on their merry way. You don't have to tolerate it anymore. And especially after 2 years of them not being in my life is no longer stressful. I don't have to pretend to be someone I'm not. I don't have to people please. I don't have to do what somebody tells me to do, even as an adult, treating me like a child, disrespecting me in front of people, disrespecting me in private, talking about me behind my back. You don't deserve that. And there's no way you should ever allow someone like that back in your life, even if it's your spouse asking you to do so. Okay? Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.